AM 590, KXSP Omaha's ESPN Radio. It's time for the Metro's only racing talk show. The Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Now, here's Dan Taylor and Buddy Ray.
Well, good morning, race fans, and welcome to the Front Stretch, presented by Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs, online at joeskarting.com. We are broadcasting live from the Quaker Steak and Lube Mobile Command Unit.
You know, when we opened up the show with that music intro, I'm just waiting for you one of these times in the last 3 years to come up with a choreographed dance routine. You're over here dancing in your seat.
You gotta get fired up. It's Sunday morning.
I tell you what, this is gorgeous out here. It's a little chilly, but the sun's coming up over turn 4 here. The winds are pretty light right now. What a gorgeous day for racing.
It's about the only day that we've been down here that the wind hasn't been blowing in gale force conditions.
It's about the only day we've been down here so far that you ain't froze to death either.
Friday wasn't bad. Yesterday was rough. I think we got to a high about 57. The nationwide guys really saw the impact of the colder temperatures and the wind. It was, 8 cautions for about 50-some laps. There was several cars. I mean, just the freakiest things. Kyle Larson, for instance, coming out of turn number 2, must have caught wind or something because his car was tight all day long.
And it just broke loose.
Yeah, all of a sudden it was just wicked loose, and he ends up pirouetting through the backstretch and ends up he made contact with Chris Buescher in the 60 car. Kyle's day was done. Chris's day was.
And Chris was looking strong.
Yeah, he was. He was looking. He's one of those guys that is he's definitely someone to watch in the next few years. Doing very well for himself in the Nationwide Series, and he's going to be up in the Cup Series pretty soon. For the show lined up for you today, man alive, we have a good one. We're going to kick it off with NASCAR news and notes. We're going to talk about some of the stories that are around the NASCAR world. We're going to also play the interview we have from Michael, Annett, and AJ Allmendinger. That's all in turn number 1. In turn number 2, brought to you that we're going to talk to SLMR Series. It was the debut of the SLMR Series this weekend, Friday and Saturday at Lakeside Speedway, and hang on. Yep, they just went back to caution.
We'll get to that later.
If you were there the last few nights, you know exactly what I'm talking about. If you weren't, we'll tune you in turn number 2. Turn 3, we're going to talk about how you can get your tickets to today, what's going to be in store for you, and then we've got an interview with Kyle Larson and Kenny Schrader that they're going to be playing. Plus, you've got a big announcement.
Yeah. We'll get to it.
We'll get to that. Turn number 4, we'll get you set for today's race. Stats and all of the such. All that today. So we got a big show lined up for you today, so let's get into it. From the world of, this hadn't been rumored a lot, but when you heard the announcement, you weren't really all that surprised. Dave Rogers not returning to the 18 car for 2015, although he is expected to maintain his role, some sort of role at Joe Gibbs Racing.
You know, we haven't been officially told the reason why, but I would imagine when you tell your driver to take his whiny little butt to the hauler, that might have something to do to it. I mean, after a while, you just get tired of hearing about the complaining.
You really do. At some point in time, a guy's got to grow up and deal with adversity.
Yeah.
But he deals with, and his brother Kurt's a little bit better about it, but Kyle just, whenever times are tough, there's no other way to put it.
He complains.
He whines like a baby.
Yeah.
And he needs his diaper changed every once in a while.
You know, I think we heard a little bit of that in the Nationwide race yesterday.
Yeah.
He started freaking out. It's almost like he's calm, cool, and collected when things are going his way or the team's way.
Yeah.
But the slightest little bit, there's no gradually getting into. I mean, if you're struggling the whole race, I can see the frustration. But so a tire wears down in the right rear and you're losing grip, and all of a sudden he's making a big charade out of the deal. I'm like, calm down there, Kyle.
And that's the reason why he's gone through several crew chiefs. And rumor mill has it that Adam Stevens, who was his winning crew chief yesterday, who is his crew chief for the 54 team at Joe Gibbs Racing, and Kyle Busch in the Nationwide Series, will come up to the Cup Series and see if he can put up with Kyle for a couple of years.
Is that really all that bad of a deal? Because I had mentioned yesterday in the press box, have you ever noticed Kyle Busch does good here in the Nationwide Series, but yet he struggles in the Cup Series? Now, I'm not saying that's the crew chief's fault, but if that does happen, I think that's only going to help Kyle, really. That's the one crew chief so far that has not left him.
Well, Nationwide Series and Cup, Kyle has struggled here, period. And he couldn't find his way to the finish line most days. in either car. But he was able to find his way first to the finish line yesterday. Had a very, very good car. But it almost feels like, and I'm pretty sure I overheard some spotters talking. I'm pretty sure one of them was the spotter for Kyle Busch and will be the spotter for Kyle Busch today, said that the lower horsepower in the Nationwide Series benefits Kyle here. And that extra horsepower is what hurts him in the Cup Series.
He might be overdriving the car with that extra horsepower, and that's his Achilles heel here at Kansas Speedway.
Basically, what I'm going to tell you is when it comes down to the Pick'ems contest, save Kyle for another race. Because, what was it, last year, I mean, we were within the first 15, 20 laps, and he was spinning coming out of turn number 2, and his day was shot from that. I mean, he didn't make any contact, but he was back of the field. He had a terrible, I think he wrecked 3 or 4 times. No contact from anybody else, just spun on his own.
You know, drivers have their tracks that they struggle at, but my crew chief's wife, Stephanie Perrin, she was on Facebook this morning, you know, hoping for a good showing for the M&M Nation. But like she said, Kyle Busch, this is his kryptonite on the entire circuit. I mean, nothing goes right for the guy here.
Well, he said it when the chase started. He said that this round, the contender round that we're in right now, is the one that really worries me because we're terrible at Kansas and Talladega's a crapshoot. I've got Charlotte to get it figured out. I've got Charlotte to do good, to basically to win a race, because chances are really good he's going to wreck out of Talladega, because chances are good that anybody's going to wreck out of Talladega.
Pretty much.
And he struggles here, so if he has 2 bad finishes, he could be the next guy out in our chase.
I seriously think one bad finish, he could be top 5 at any one of the next 3 tracks, you know, counting today, but one bad finish and he's out, period. You know, we were talking about this last night over dinner or whatever we were doing. Talladega, whatever we were doing. But Talladega, I love the fact that Talladega is the last race in this segment of the grid because it is such a wild card crapshoot. Like you said, anybody could wreck out or have a bad, you know, finish at Talladega. So
you think they lay it on the line at Talladega before? Just wait until this is the last opportunity. They're sitting 12th, and there's no room to go 6 wide. It doesn't matter. If I'm sitting 12th and I finish 2nd or worse, I'm not in the chase. I might as well try to force the issue, go 6 wide, and see if maybe I can't get a stroke of luck. But I'm probably going to end up wrecking the field. So it's
6 wide. I was thinking 7 wide, but yeah, I agree with you 110%. And I can't remember how you lined it, but the last 10 laps is going to be some short track racing on a 3-mile track.
Well, I was doing the over-under for cautions in the last 10 laps, and I think there's going to be probably 10 or 12. We're going to finish with 4 or 5 cars running at the end of that race.
The end of Talladega is going to take an hour.
The rest of the Kyle Busch news. So Adam Stevens is expected to come up and head up the 18 team starting next year, while Dave Rogers is expected to stay with Joe Gibbs Racing. He may move over and be the new crew chief for the soon-to-be coming Carl Edwards in the 19 car.
Good question for you with the Kyle Busch, though. Steve Addington has left. Rogers is leaving. The new guy's coming on. If that new guy's only here for a year or two, if you're Kyle Busch's car owner, when do you say, okay, enough's enough?
Kyle wins, though. I would say if I was Joe Gibbs, it's even. He's a fully sponsored team. M&M's loves him. Honestly, a fully sponsored team is hard to come by. You don't give that up for anybody, for a lot of other drivers, unless you've got somebody that can bring a fully funded team. You know, and Kyle Busch is a guy that maybe you keep him locked in at your organization so you don't have to deal with him with everybody else. Imagine how Jack Roush is feeling with Matt Kenseth leaving 2 years ago, going and winning 7 races last year, absolutely putting a spanking on the field, almost won the championship. And this year, he's doing better than all of Jack's other cars. And now Jack's losing Carl Edwards to the same organization that took Matt Kenseth away. So maybe there's a little bit of a, well, we're not going to let him go just so we don't have to race against him kind of a thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, for the most part, 9 times out of 10, Kyle keeps his P's in a line. And he doesn't get in much trouble, but when he does get in trouble, it's the same story, and everybody's getting irritated with it.
Yeah.
I think the deciding factor and what helped him when we had that incident in Texas last time, what helped him was that he got the blessing of M&M's to come back and to maintain their sponsorship. If M&M's would have fallen off, he'd have been gone.
Oh,
It'd have been gonzo.
Yeah.
I saw an interesting post on the Nebraska 360 Facebook page on Friday that basically tried to dispel some rumors that Randy Palmer and Dennis Parker, the creators of the Nebraska 360 series, and the guy who run at the heart and soul of that series, killed a lot of rumors and said, we're not going anywhere. We're going to be full. We're going to be running next year. We've already been in contact with a lot of the tracks that we were at this year, and they enjoyed the show we brought to them. So we expect them to re-sign. We'll have a full schedule. Maybe it sounds like they may pick up a couple of more tracks. Hope they do, because they could use it. That's Nebraska 360 series is basically all 360 sprint cars have left in this area for some sort of a touring series. Unless you want to be a weekly racer, which do you know anywhere that is racing weekly 360s?
Not really.
Yeah, after Eagle got rid of them for a much cheaper, much more economically efficient
which
305
makes
class,
sense.
it made sense completely. I'm not dogging that at all. But as long as the 360 series is around, then Jack Dover and Stu Snyder and Brian Brown and Donnie Schatz have places to come over in this area. And I was really glad to see that. We're going to have to get Dennis or Randy on the show and maybe kind of talk about what's going on there.
We've talked about the negativity on social media and the websites and all this and all that, but it as a fan and as a driver, even though I drive a different style car, it's just really annoying that the rumor mill has to be attacking such a young series. This series has got such a long, bright future ahead of it. I mean, anymore, you bring the 360s to any track, and they put on one heck of a good show.
Yeah.
And
to follow that up, I'm going to try to tiptoe around somebody who told me a story in confidence that there is another touring series that is ran locally, that there was a lot of negativity and there was strong consideration to cancel the series at the end of the year.
That doesn't do the sport no good.
And frankly, it would be incredibly detrimental to that division of racing if this touring series went away. Because just like we were saying with the 360s, and the 360s are in better shape than this touring series is, division is. And if I said the division, it would basically give it away. So that's why I'm trying to tiptoe around this. But it just, go back to the old saying, what your mama taught you. You don't have anything nice to say.
You don't say nothing at all.
Exactly. Now, we're kind of talking out of two sides of our mouth because we've said plenty of negative things on this show about some drivers and some organizations. But you know what? For the most part, we're out there trying to benefit racing. And please, fans, like you said, with Facebook, with Twitter, just if you're not going to benefit the sport, leave.
Yeah.
Get out of it. Go watch football. Go talk negative about Nebraska Cornhuskers or the Iowa Hawkeyes or the Patriots or the Steelers or MLB or NBA. Go talk negative about those sports. We don't want you in our sport. We like to watch racing, and we've got to watch a lot of it this weekend. I hope you get your tickets to watch it this weekend. Now, we kind of blabbed a little bit about the NASCAR news and notes, so let's get to our first interview we conducted in the haulers Friday afternoon. Courtesy of Kansas Speedway letting us come down and do a little bit of show prep. Got to talk to AJ Allmendinger in the 47 hauler, and this is what AJ had to say. All right, standing in the hauler of the 47 machine with AJ Allmendinger of JTG Doherty Racing. AJ, thanks a lot for taking time here today, man.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
What's your guys' plan for the remainder of the season? Is there moving towards benefiting 2015, or are you guys still working on finishing as high as you can?
No, I mean, it was disappointing, but at the same point, I think it really hasn't been made a lot about this format, just because in the end it is all about the championship and those Final Four drivers that get to Homestead. So that's what the main goal is about. But, with our race team, our goal is still to finish as high in points as possible. It's still realistic to finish as high as 5th. I think a realistic goal for us is a top 10 in the championship. So it doesn't change anything. We don't shift our focus to next year. Our whole plan throughout this chase format is just try to finish as high as possible in every race. And, last week it was disappointing because I thought in the end it only took a 20th place finish to get us in, and we weren't good enough. We didn't do a good enough job to make that happen. But, we got some good tracks coming up. We tested at Charlotte, so hopefully we can go there and run well. Kansas is a place that I feel like we've made gains when it comes to mile-and-a-half programs, so hopefully we can have a good run here. And when it comes to the short tracks at Martinsville and Phoenix, I really enjoy those places. So I think it's realistic. We got to run better, but I think we can still get top 10 in points.
How big of a disadvantage do you think it is for you guys to be a single-car team?
I mean, there's advantages and disadvantages. Our advantage is I think we're a close-knit team that has 35 employees that all work hard together, knowing that we have to work harder than everybody else to even try to compete against the big teams. But at the same point, yeah, we're a single-car team, but we have resources when it comes to RCR and the alliance that we have with them, the ECR Motors, and just the relationship we have with Chevy, that we get all their data, we get all their notes, all the info, all the engineering help. So, yeah, we're a single-car team in one way, but in a lot of ways we're really not.
Before the Watkins Glen, your 3-year extension was announced, well, you ended up making the chase. Was knowing that you have a home for 3 more seasons, did that help take pressure off of your shoulders and let your driving shine through, therefore getting you into the chase?
No, not really. When we did this deal, going into the year, it was a long-term program. So it wasn't like it was 1 year that got added on. This was a 4-year deal that we looked at growing this team as a process. And I think we've done a lot of great things this year to be able to have a victory in our first season together, to be able to be in the chase with this new format. There's a lot of great things that have happened, but at the same point, we know we got a lot to do to reach the next level, and that's being a top 15, top 10 team each week. So, there's the ups and downs of the season. That's what makes the Sprint Cup Series so difficult, because it is so long. You're going to have those ups and downs, especially when you're a single-car team, but there's a lot of great things that are happening, and to be able to be in the chase the first year is pretty amazing. But we know we got long-term goals we want to reach.
We were both pretty excited for you.
Well, thank you.
We're still coming off that win where we're like, wow.
Well, unfortunately, in this sport, the next weekend makes you come right back down to earth.
I'm not afraid to admit it. The last time I cried for a NASCAR race was when Dale Sr. won Daytona. And I shed a couple of tears when you pulled out of that car and you were throwing your arms up just screaming.
Well,
I was kind of choking up.
I called him. I was like, did I just see that right? Did I just see that?
It was a great story, and it was a huge win for you.
It's something that I look at no matter what happens. Hopefully we get a lot more victories together, but you can't ever take that away. And that's something that I'd worked for 8 years, and Tad and Jody Geschichter had worked for 20 years to get to. Yeah. So it's really special.
Well, let's talk about getting win number 2 on the season. You're working on the Kansas Lottery 400 for Sunday. How's the car feeling so far, getting ready to go out for qualifying?
So far, I was really happy within the first practice. The car was really stable. It's something we fought with all year at these 1.5 miles. Just not really getting the car stable enough to where, especially in conditions like this where it's really cool, really fast, you got to attack the racetrack. I mean, there's not a lot to it except you got to be in the throttle. Mm-hmm. So I felt like the car was really stable so far today. As the weekend goes on, it's going to be a little warmer tomorrow, and Sunday it looks like it's going to be almost 20 degrees warmer. So that's what's tough about this place, especially in conditions like this, to where when it's cool on Friday and Saturday, the track's just got a ton of grip in it. Sunday you drop the green and the track's slicked up. So so far so good, but got to stay on top of the racetrack. All
right, AJ, best of luck Sunday. We appreciate you taking the time.
Cool, thank you guys.
It's going to be a high of about 73, 75 for today, so it will be considerably different than what they practiced on Friday and practiced on yesterday. By the way, AJ Allmendinger starting 20th today. Other NASCAR news and notes before we head to break. Clint Boyer's now a daddy. Dale Jr.'s not expecting to finish his career at Hendrick Motorsports. He's going to be starting. It sounds like he's going to bring Junior Motorsports up to the Cup Series, and he'll finish out his career there. And I think that's all I got for news and notes. Anthony Ainslie just around the corner, the voice of the SLMR Series. Plus, we still have Kenny Schrader, Kyle Larson, and Michael Annett to play for interviews. We'll be back here in the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Joe's Karting at Council Bluffs has taken a page out of IMCA's rulebook and gone crate. These brand new low edition engines will still have you white knuckling it all through the Metro's fastest indoor facility. Joe's Karting is now friendly for all skill levels with their brand new Honda powered engines. It's time to get to Joe's today and find out what drivers like Jack Dover, Shale Blade, and Andrew Kosiski have known for years. Located in Council Bluffs and online at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K.
The 7th annual Racing with the Stars is just around the corner. Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs from noon to 4 on Sunday, November 2nd. You can race with your favorite drivers and celebrities, all in the spirit of raising money for the holiday horsepower drive. Race against drivers like Shaylee Bade, Clint Benson, ARCA driver Will Wolf, and so many more. The 7th annual Racing with the Stars kicks off at noon with silent auction available until 3:30 p.m. More information is on Facebook at 7th Annual Racing with the Stars.
We're working the high line into turn 2 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting, online at joeskarting.com.
Turn number 2 brought to you by Kaziski Auto Parts, online at kaziski.com. Quality used parts at an affordable price. There were several NASCAR drivers this weekend that could have used some quality used parts, and frankly, there was some dirt drivers at Lakeside Speedway last night and Friday night that could have used some quality used parts at an affordable price.
I was just thinking, I bet you Andrew would love to sell those tires and get rid of them altogether.
Oh man. That was you were saying to me last night. I don't know if the bigger story was the great racing or the dang tires. If you are listening to us, you happen to be in the infield of Kansas Speedway, come over to the Quaker Steak and Lube Mobile Command Unit. We're over by the Ox trailers, the Ox bathroom stall. That sounds really bad. We're in the infield. We are actually standing on the road course. We're doing our show. You can get us set up. The only thing bad about being at the Quaker Steak and Lube Mobile Command Center is that Chris is still asleep and we don't have any wings to eat.
Yeah.
I just heard that commercial as we went to break. If you love wings. And I was like, God dang, I could use some Arizona ranch sauce wings right now.
I'm thinking ribeye steak.
All right, let's head to the phone lines and talk to the voice of the SLMR series. It's Anthony Ainslie. Anthony, you had a late couple of nights. How you doing, big guy?
Oh, I'm doing all right. We actually got finished up pretty early this morning compared to yesterday morning when races got over at about 2:45.
Yeah, that was Friday night. You guys had a very, very late night, and then / early morning, and then everything kind of kept pretty calm on Saturday night. What was it, 2 red flags during the SLMR series?
Yeah, that was a very rough start for us in the 25-lap feature. 2 red flags came out after we completed 1 lap, and then after, and of course, you said the tires all across the racetrack the weekend over at Lakeside. 4 cautions came out last night due to the implement tires. But I tell you what, after the 2 red flags, glad to hear that all drivers were okay. But a lot of drivers high up in the points were suffering big time yesterday.
Yeah, well, let's talk what happened Friday, and we'll get to Saturday night's action. How did the racing go on Friday night? Who was your winners and qualifiers?
I'll tell you what, it was a very good race on Friday night. Josh Krug made the trip down from Omaha, Nebraska, a young man. You gotta say he was looking very sharp out there, led the first opening laps. And then Justin Zeitner took the lead, and then from there, he ran away with it. It was a good duel behind him between Kyle Burt and first-time SLMR driver Ryan Gustin. He made the trip over from Marshalltown, Iowa to race. Had a good run, top 3 finish on Friday night. And Josh Krug, he actually fought his way back into the top 3 in the closing laps, but unfortunately, he slapped the wall in turn number 1 with 2 laps to go to bring out the third and final caution of that race. But from there, it was all Justin Zeitner. Kyle Berg and Ryan Gustin gave it their all. The Little Lightning struck on the first night of the SLMR invasion of Lakeside Speedway. Justin Zeitner picked up his first career SLMR Series victory at the first ever feature event for the SLMR Series at Lakeside Speedway.
And was he racing his dad's car that night, or was it his car?
It was actually Leon's car. He's been doing that the last couple of stops on the SLMR Tour. I believe it's the GRT car that he ran earlier this year. I think he's trying to sell that.
And then, so we moved to Saturday night, and sounds like your points leader, Kyle Burke, had a bit of a rough heat race.
Oh, absolutely. So Joe Kaziski said he had part of the part of the motor actually go through the radiator during the heat race, and that's why he pulled off. And he actually had to go to a borrowed car. He borrowed Ben Schaler's number 98 last night, and actually started the race one lap down because he didn't come out at the beginning.
Sorry, Anthony, I lost my train of thought that we were getting yelled at by fans that we were looking too serious, so we had to get have a little bit of fun. So Kyle Burke lost an engine, went to a backup car, and he did that because he needs to save points because Tad Pospisil not too far behind him.
No, absolutely not, but I'll tell you what, Tad Pospisil also had some big issues as well.
Yeah, in the feature event, Tad got collected, was that the second red flag?
Yeah, that was. Mike Collins actually started that off after he was leading. Collins led the opening lap, but then on the restart following the first red flag, Collins slapped the wall, and that set off the whole chain reaction. Tad Pospisil ended up going over 1.5 times. Unfortunately, Pospisil was okay. Brian Kaziski, Robbie Anderson, Mike Collins, Corey Zeitner, and, of course, Friday's A feature winner, Justin Zeitner, were all involved. Unfortunately, Justin would not return to the racetrack after that red flag.
In a pretty serious wreck for Tad Pospisil. We were talking to Lisa Layton Kaziski, and she was saying that she'd heard Bill Layton Jr. had said that the accident actually cracked Tad's helmet.
Well, I was very happy to see that Pospisil was able to climb out of that pretty much unharmed. But like you said, all the safety equipment did its job, kept Tad safe. I'll tell you what, it was kind of sad to see that happen. I was really expecting Tad to be a front runner up there, but seeing that, it's going to be a tough road ahead. We have about 1 week before the Cornhusker Classic before we wrap things up, and this is definitely not what the 04 team needed.
Exactly, and I hate to back up again because we're kind of doing things out of order here, but the first red flag came out, and I apologize, I don't remember the name of the driver that was involved in it, but he ended up getting transported to the hospital.
That was Dan Shepard.
Dan Shepard?
Yep.
Have you heard an update on Dan, how he's doing?
Since he was transferred to the medical center, we have not heard on his condition, but still we're all hoping for the best for the Greeley, Colorado driver. Dan Shepard, very nice guy, really tough competitor. Had a tough night on Friday night, getting lapped a couple of times, but definitely don't like to see that no matter where anyone's running. But still our condolences going out to Dan Shepard. Sure hope he's okay.
And let's move on to the final night, the checkered flag on Saturday night at Lakeside Speedway. Who got the win, and how did that roll out with the point standings?
I gotta say, I was pretty impressed to see who got the win on Saturday night. Ryan Gustin from Marshalltown, Iowa. Of course, Ryan is no stranger to dirt late model racing. He had the miracle run in the Silver Dollar Nationals last year, if you remember that. Were you there for that show?
Oh yeah, that was a heck. He was a talk even after this year's Silver Dollar Nationals about the run he did last year, running through the field and almost getting that win.
Yeah, well, Gustin made his personal history on Saturday night. He picked up his first career SLMR feature win. I believe Corey Zeitner actually battled back after that second red flag. He had to come into the pit area to change a flat right rear tire after clipping Mike Collins to start that wreck off. Zeitner battled all the way back to take the second spot. Randy Foote out of Stanton, Iowa, recorded his best finish of the season. Randy, after leading a few laps until Gustin took over for good, Foote finished third in Saturday's feature. Also, Andrew Kaziski posted another top 5 finish. Kaziski finished in the 4th spot, and Josh Scruggs came back after a disappointing run on Friday. He came back to round out the top 5 in Saturday night's 25-lap main event.
So you had back-to-back nights where it was a first-time SLMR winner.
Yeah, absolutely. That was really something. And also Saturday night, first time this year that an Iowa driver went to victory lane. Of course, everyone beforehand from Nebraska, but now Marshalltown, Iowa's Ryan Gustin, showing that he can mix it up with the SLMR series. And, of course, Ryan spending most of his year with the Mars Dirt Car Series and the Lucas Oil MLRA Series. Picked up about 5 feature wins between those two series. It's good to see guys like Ryan Gustin, make the switch over to SLMR for a race or two, and it's nice to see those guys help promote this racing series.
Well, now we've put Lakeside in a rearview mirror. Great series, great debut there for the SLMR series. Now you guys are starting to focus on the Cornhusker Classic, the final nights for the championship standings. I believe the SLMR series races Friday night, and then the championship is on Saturday night. Am I right?
I think we were just going to go on Saturday night for the super late model show.
Okay. So it's
that
just
was
Saturday
my
night.
Yeah, super late models, and then 360 sprint cars also on Saturday night. So if you're coming to see the big boys, Saturday is the one to go to. But, of course, come out all 3 nights to watch all of I-80 Speedway's groups just battle it out for one last time before the season is over.
Anthony Ainslie, the voice of the SLMR series. You can catch him this coming weekend at I-80 Speedway for the season finale, the Cornhusker Classic. Anthony, I do appreciate you getting up this morning. You've had a long weekend, so take a little time off, and then make sure you get in contact with us if you're coming over to the race today.
My dad and I are planning on coming over this week, over today for the Sprint Cup show.
Awesome. We can't wait to see you. Thanks so much for your time, buddy.
All right. Thanks, buddy. We'll hope to see you there.
I want to kind of talk about a little bit. We were talking about Andrew, and you talked about the negativity. I don't know if you saw Andrew's Facebook post a few weeks ago, but he is strongly considering giving up racing because of the negativity. Apparently there was a situation with the SLMR series, and some of his competitors believing that because his dad runs it, that Andrew gets favoritism. And I can tell you that, not because Joe's a friend of mine or because Kaziski Auto Parts and I-80 Speedway is a good partner of this show, but because I could sit there and objectively watch how this works. I actually believe Andrew gets the short end of the stick. I think Joe deliberately doesn't help Andrew because he doesn't want people to think he's playing favoritism, and I think it hurts Andrew from time to time.
Well, I don't know if it really hurts Andrew from time to time. I think what hurts Andrew a lot of the time, though, is the negativity from other people. I understand Joe's position. If Joe's got to be a little harder on Andrew, it's only because Andrew's smart enough and mature enough to understand that, any ounce of extra attention from Papa Joe would show favoritism. And I'm not saying that there is any favoritism, because there's not.
There isn't.
It's a business. They have to run it like a business.
Yeah.
But what's really sad is once again, the negativity is liable to cut short the career of one of the best up-and-coming young dirt late model drivers.
And by the way, the sad thing to say is the negativity was coming from somebody within that SLMR competition. It was one of his other competitors. And it was one of those situations where the competitor didn't like the call, and it didn't benefit them. So automatically it was because Andrew was Joe Kaziski's son, and it was favoritism. And that's the kind of stuff that's going to ruin these series, the local sports, and we'll quit hyping on it because talking about negativity is just giving it light, giving it breath, and continuing it along. So we'll let it die, much like we need to do with the Tony Stewarts. We'll just let it all go.
We'll just go.
Move it on forward. All right, we're going to move over to turn number 3, and we're going to talk with somebody else, Kenny Schrader and Michael Annett.
Still waking up, are we?
We'll be back on the front stretch.
This is Andrew from Kaziski Auto Parts. Kaziski Auto Parts is an insurance-quality used parts supplier that can match your foreign or domestic car or truck needs. If you have a damaged or broke-down car or truck, we guarantee a clean and quality part in next-day fashion. Kaziski Auto Parts, your neighborhood premium recycled parts supplier. Call any Kaziski Auto Parts salesman today by dialing 402-731-4592 or visit us at 5040 I Street in Omaha. Kaziski Auto Parts, our quality used parts will match your car or truck's needs.
Are you looking to book your next outing? Look no further than Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs. Located just north of Bass Pro Shop, Joe's Karting can handle outings of well over 100-plus people. Bachelor parties, corporate outings, team building, birthday parties, and much more. Give Buddy a call today and reserve your outing. Joe's will even work with local restaurants to cater your event. Book yours today at joeskarting.com. That's karting with a K. It's time to get to Joe's and find out what everyone already knows.
Quaker Steak and Lube is the official watering hole for the front stretch and the best place to catch all the NASCAR action today. Open at 11 a.m. with delivery available to Council Bluffs.
Great times, great food, get to Quaker Steak and Lube.
Time to grab another tear-off and make your move. We're headed into Turn 3 on the front stretch, presented by Joe's Karting.
You know, I'm going to talk to Chris maybe next year down here at the Quaker Steak and Lube Mobile Command Center. Maybe have like a Mobile Command Center grill.
Yeah.
Hash browns, scrambled eggs, sausage, bacon.
This is just terrible. We don't have any of this stuff, and it's just.
No.
I mean, we're at the Quaker Steak and Lube Mobile Command Center. Luckily for you that are still up in Omaha and not making the trek down today, you can head over to Quaker Steak and Lube today. Watch all the green flag action at the official watering hole of the front stretch. The young gun for today coming up in just a little bit. I'm trying to find the name. I'm sorry. Aaron Jacina. I couldn't remember his first name. He's going to be coming up in a little bit. We are out of young guns, and we still have 6 weeks left for the Young Gun Show. So please email your young gun, frontstretch590@gmail.com. Basically, the only rule we try to stick by is 18 and under, but there was a kid, Dylan Lynn, he's 20 years old, so according to NASCAR terms, he's an old man. We'll break that rule. Basically, we're just trying to highlight the up-and-coming drivers because they need to get a little bit of love so that they could be the guys like AJ Allmendinger, Michael Annett, Kyle Larson that spotlight that talent. And do you want to make the announcement now, kind of segue in that with some of the news you heard about maybe one of our local talents making his way up?
Yeah, I'm not going to go into detail, but the breaking news was that a local driver, Crazy 99 Jesse Sobbing, may be flirting with some ARCA teams. I'll just put it at that.
Yep.
You know, and that's huge for Jesse. I mean, what more does he need to accomplish on the dirt? He is moving to USMTS. He might run a few IMCA shows, but I think it's not 100% confirmed, but I think he's going to eye a lot of USMTS shows next year, maybe a few IMCA shows here and there. But there was a ARCA team. He was at Kansas Speedway yesterday. He was in talks with them. Now, when I say he was in talks, he's not striking a deal or nothing like that. But, that's really huge.
He's
networking. That's really huge.
Yep.
And there's some potential out there. There have been some talks, that there's some sponsorship money available. So I think they're really shopping around in some ways. It may not be hardcore, but they are shopping around looking at different options. But that's huge for the Omaha, Council Bluffs area. Kudos to Jesse. And if it works out, man, I'm so proud of that kid. Things
are starting to wake up and starting to move around. The Deffenbaugh guys going around cleaning up all the trash from last night's partying. Get your tickets today for the Hollywood Casino 400 at Kansas Speedway. Don't even bother with going online anymore because you might as well just get them at the gate. And I'll tell you, we've come down here. This is now our 4th year coming down here.
Yep.
I honestly think this is going to be the hardest year yet to get tickets. Now, single race tickets, family package tickets for today are still available, but I've never seen this many RVs over in the Phoenix RV lot to the south of the lot.
This is
Everything
nuts.
is packed. Everybody's waking up. There's mimosas. There's Bloody Marys. And we're going to continue with the interviews that we were able to get. Thank you to Kansas Speedway, by the way, and all the hard work that they were able to do with us. We got to sit down with Michael Annett, who is now the driver for our old friend Hudson Hall, who used to be with the Motorsports Group. And Hudson set up an interview with us, and quite frankly, we didn't do a very good job of being nice to Hudson.
Not really.
But here we go. Michael Annett, driver of the number 7 Tommy Baldwin racing car that's going to be out on the track today. In the Flying J Pilot number 7 hauler with Michael Annett, hopefully going to be a good friend of the show, as our old good friend of the show, Hudson Hall, moved over at the beginning of the season with you. First and foremost, what's it like working with that guy?
It's never easy. Obviously, I feel like I'm being a great mentor to him, getting him through each day, getting his shoes on, getting his pants on the right legs. So it's definitely fun, though, and he's definitely growing. Did he upgrade to shoelaces, or is he still Velcro? He's still Velcro. Well, it was good. It's better than the Crocs we started with.
one step at a time. Thank you for playing along with that, by the way. Talking with Michael Annett, we talked to you on Friday, and you just finished first practice, and pretty sure there's gale force winds out there. What's that doing to the car? Anything at all?
Fortunately, there's just so much grip, here this weekend. We love cool temperatures. The cooler it is, the faster the cars go, the better they handle. So it's, to wake up this morning, it was pitch black and thought the bus was gonna blow upside down, and now the sun's out and we got our jackets on. But like I said, as long as the wind's not too bad and it's cool out, we're definitely gonna see some lightning quick speeds here in qualifying later on.
With the speeds of the winds being a factor somewhat today, even though you say it's not real hard and there's a ton of grip, and then tomorrow it's going to be in the 50s, but come this Sunday, we're looking at mid-70s, upper 70s, and sunshine. How big of a difference is that going to be in setups, and how hard is that going to be to dial in?
It definitely it makes it tougher. I think that's when you see the veterans of this sport and the guys that obviously we see in the chase, that have so many years experience, they're used to what they need to find in the car on Saturday afternoon, knowing that, we might gain 10 degrees in temperature and the sun's obviously going to be out and we won't have hardly any cloud cover. So it definitely, those guys have an advantage there in that sense, but to have a veteran crew chief like Kevin Bonomanian, he obviously he knows what he needs to be looking for in the car. So that's as a rookie, that's a huge benefit for me.
Talk about the change in the car from lap number 1 all the way till when the checkered flag waves. It's going to get hotter. The track's going to take rubber, and it's going to get a little slicker. How much, though?
It just depends. I think the biggest thing is to see how much the cars start to move around. Try to with the new pave here, not being too old, the bottom's still the quickest way around, and that definitely just puts an emphasis on qualifying here today because it's going to be hard to pass. So each time we come back to Kansas, though, it loses more grip and a little bit more grip, and as soon as that happens and the track gets we always use the word character. You start moving around and trying to just find where your car is going to handle the best. So that's normally what puts on the most fun racing to watch, I think, and to be a part of.
A few weeks ago, NASCAR came out with a rule package for 2015. There's a lot of changes that are coming that seem to be some significant changes. Is there one of them you saw in the rundown that you said, I'm going to like that rule change a lot?
I think the biggest thing is, taking some of the spoiler off the car. I think, anything to take downforce away from these cars kind of goes back to what I just said about having to move around and make the car handle. We've been to, we got so many tracks now that are repaves. There's just all kinds of grip, and it really isn't a huge feat to try to make the car handle, and I think to take down force away, to take some horsepower away, and these tracks are just going to keep, I used the word character earlier, it's just going to make the racing even better, and I think we're going to see a lot more side-by-side and guys, struggling to find the handle on their cars.
What do you think about the testing removal, that teams aren't allowed to go to tracks and test anymore? It's going to only be NASCAR-sanctioned tests or Goodyear-sanctioned tests. Do you like that? Because there could be some benefits for you guys, but there also could be some disadvantages.
I think the biggest thing we see when they first started limiting the number of tests, it was the bigger teams that had more teammates and more resources. Kind of as soon as they hit on something, it took a little bit longer for the smaller teams to catch up. We have an alliance with RCR and ECR engines, so there's a lot of things that I think it's going to become more on the engineering side than it ever has been in our sport. We've already seen so many things are done with computer simulations and in the wind tunnel and things like that before we can get to the track, that there's not a whole lot of big changes or the wholesale changes that we used to see. You unload pretty close. I think it's pretty amazing that most of the time your fastest lap you run all weekend is probably the first lap on the track. So that's just a testament to those engineers and people like with our relationship with Chevrolet and their engineering department is going to be huge next year with not being able to test.
What's your thoughts on the new adjustable track bar that the drivers can play around with in 2015?
I think sometimes it's going to be a huge benefit, and sometimes it's going to hurt. I like dummy-proof things so where I can't dial myself out before I even get before we even get started. And you start giving us too many gadgets in the car. Sometimes you get yourself so far out of bounds and you can't remember. I'm not exactly sure how it's even going to work, but you might think you're going one way, you might be going the other way on it. So it's going to take some getting used to, and hopefully the cars are close enough when the race starts that you don't have to start twisting on too many knobs.
Michael Annett, driver, the number 7 Flying J pilot, car for Tommy Baldwin Racing. Appreciate your time and best of luck Sunday.
I appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
You can hear in the background they are preparing for the national anthem, for the pre-race show. Things are really starting to get moving here at Kansas Speedway, and thank you again to Quaker Steak and Lube for allowing us to set up at their mobile command unit. Basically, that's just a way of saying that they've got an RV back there, and he let us use his power, and now we're going to get a cup of coffee from his beautiful wife.
Well, he's sleeping. He ain't going to know any difference.
On the phone with us now, the woman that is whooping the entire field in the Pick'ems contest, Sonia Worth. Sonia, how you doing, hon?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Are you awake and alert, ready for racing today?
I am. I don't know about so much awake, but yeah, I'm ready.
Are you going to let us in on who you're taking today so that everyone can steal your pick?
No.
Come on, you only got 400 races already coming towards you.
We were just talking about that last night. Buddy goes, I think we're going to lose money on this chick.
Well, I have been lucky. I haven't had any that have had any DNF, so hopefully that holds out for the next 8 races,
I was looking at it. I thought maybe there, as we were getting towards the chase, your lead over John Dumpert was starting to shrink a lot, but you kicked it into gear, and now you've opened up a 52-point lead over David Ackerson, a 93-point lead over Craig Truitt. You're putting it to the boys.
Yeah, well, there for a few weeks I started taking some guys that I thought, well, I got a little bit of an ahead run, so I kind of laid back a little bit so I could save some of my good guys toward the end. So,
Good strategy you got there. That's really smart. You and Dale Smith down here enjoying the action. How'd you think of the race yesterday?
It was awesome. Kyle won. I was so happy. I'm a big Kyle Busch fan, so, yeah. So, I've seen your post about Shrub wins. I'm like, what? What's that all about?
I got a lot of grief for that. That's his nickname because he's the little Bush brother. So they call him Shrub.
Oh, okay. Well, I'd rather go with Rowdy myself, but
Okay. All right, I'll do that next time. When he wins today, I'll post that Rowdy gets the win.
That'd be nice for him to take the sweep, but, I don't really care who wins, just as long as the driver that I pick wins.
There you go. And you're not going to let us know who that is, are you?
No, I'm not. Sorry.
All right.
Can you give us a clue?
What's that?
Can you give us a clue?
Give you a clue? No. I tell you what.
She's hard.
I won't pick any of the drivers, but I've already picked twice.
Oh, there you go. That's it.
That narrows it down.
All right, Sonia Worth leading in the Pick'ems contest. Getting ready for Kansas Speedway today. Thanks for coming down, hon. We'll see you. We'll talk to you later.
Okay, thanks.
Bye-bye. All right. You can get involved in the Pick'ems contest by emailing us, frontstretch@590@gmail.com. We have our next 5-week contest coming up. Kicks off on Saturday night, this coming Saturday night at Charlotte Motor Speedway. It goes until Phoenix, and it's for a $100 Quaker Steak and Lube gift certificate, good for November 16th, as we will be down at Quaker Steak and Lube throwing out prizes and having a good time for the Pick'ems contest. You don't have to pay a thing. You send me 5 picks. You're in the Pick'ems contest. If you're the best of the 5 weeks, you just won yourself a $100 gift certificate to Quaker Steak and Lube for November 16th.
We've had some awesome prizes this year. I mean, look at Fred Lauer and Stephanie Perrin. Yeah. Fred's been to several NASCAR Cup races, but Stephanie's never been, and she was sitting in the stands last night. Fred played the Pick'ems contest, won a couple free tickets to Kansas Speedway.
And
Stephanie's crying in the stands. This is so cool. This is so cool.
I said to Fred, how come you're not involved in the NASCAR Pick'ems contest? You're such a big NASCAR fan. He says, well, I don't have any money to do it. I said, Fred, it's free. And if he hadn't have done it, he wouldn't have won 4 tickets to yesterday, 4 tickets to today, and 4 fan walk tickets.
Yeah.
He got in there and won the contest. So congratulations to Fred. Like I said, Front Stretch 590, you can get involved. We're going to take a quick break. Then Kyle Larson, just around the corner. We talked to him Friday in the pits and talked about his day that's going to happen today. We'll be back here on the Front Stretch.
This week's young gun on the front stretch is Aaron Jacina, who started his racing career at Mini E in 2012 in a cage kart. This season, Aaron took his number 7 car around to several kart tracks, including Little Sunset Speedway and Little Crawford County Raceway, where he earned a feature win. Aaron's favorite memory so far in his racing career came in his rookie season at the Turkey Chase, where he took home a win. Aaron has plans on moving up to mini sprints and eventually sprints to compete with the legends of dirt racing. Outside of racing and being at the racetrack, Aaron loves to play football, basketball, and is involved in Awana through Our Savior Baptist Church in Elkhorn. This year, Aaron got to race in a fundraiser at Slideways Karting Center in Knoxville against none other than Jeff Gordon and Casey Kane. And later that afternoon, Aaron got to meet his favorite driver and pick the brain of Kyle Larson. Keep your eyes out for the number 7 cage kart driven by Aaron Jacina and see what he's learned. He's this week's Young Gun on the front stretch.
The 7th annual Racing with the Stars is just around the corner. Get to Joe's Karting in Council Bluffs from noon to 4 on Sunday, November 2nd. You can race with your favorite drivers and celebrities, all in the spirit of raising money for the holiday horsepower drive. Race against drivers like Shaylee Bade, Clint Benson, ARCA driver Will Wolf, and so many more. The 7th annual Racing with the Stars kicks off at noon with silent auction available until 3:30 p.m. More information is on Facebook at 7th Annual Racing with the Stars.
Get ready for the victory lap as we make our way into Turn 4 on the front stretch. Presented by Joe's Karting. Online at joeskarting.com.
Turn number 4 brought to you by Quaker Steak and Lube, the official watering hole of the front stretch. If you can't make it down to Kansas Speedway for all the action here at our little track just down the road for the Hollywood Casino 400, then you can watch all the action on the green, on the big screens at Quaker Steak and Lube in Council Bluffs. Get yourself some amazing food and drinks.
Quaker Steak and Lube, awesome food, awesome drinks. But I tell you what, we've been laughing about it all weekend. How about that Hollywood Casino steak?
Oh, my God.
1.5 inch steak, and you're cutting it with a fork.
It was absolutely delicious. I cannot get over how amazing that steak was. We got a little bit left in the show, so we're going to talk to Kyle Larson, and this was our conversation with Kyle Friday in the pits. In the hauler for the Turner Scott Motorsports, number 42 with Kyle Larson. Kyle, we talked to you last year as you were finishing up your year in the Nationwide Series and getting ready for your Cup season. And, man, what a difference a year makes. You're having a heck of a year up in the Cup Series.
Yeah, it's been a good year for us. We barely missed a chase, which is a little bit disappointing, but we've been running strong all season long. We have a lot of top 10s and a handful of top 5s and been close to winning a couple of them, too. So that's nice to see as a rookie, and hopefully we can get a win before the season's over.
Everyone's got their goals. Obviously, all Cup Series drivers' goals are to make the chase at the end of the year and to be in the hunt for the championship. Were you able to tell yourself after you didn't make the chase, you know what, it's still my rookie season and I'm having a heck of a year, so you kind of take it and say, yeah, I didn't make the chase, but dang, I'm still doing great?
Yeah, my main goal was to make the chase, and like I said, it was a little bit disappointing when I missed it, but I just had a lot of bad luck. We blew 2 right front tires, which were, Michigan we finished dead last, Kentucky finished dead last, which killed us. Can't have days like that, and had we just not had those races, we would have been surely in the chase. But next year, hopefully we don't have as much bad luck and we can make it.
Is that tough to swallow, knowing those 2 races ruined it for you, and maybe even just holding on for another couple of laps would have got you those points, or maybe coming in and getting tires wouldn't have had that tire go out?
Yeah, Michigan, we had a lot of damage, and probably we're going to finish just outside the top 20, which would have been enough to put us in the chase. So how we not got the blown right front, maybe, but it's all in the past, so just got to get over it.
Enough of talking about what you didn't do. Let's talk about what you have done. You've gone out there in your rookie season and completely lit up the NASCAR world. You're doing great. You're getting compliments from veterans like Jeff Gordon, and you've frankly been on a lot of people's radars. Is that a lot of pressure on your shoulder, or are you just kind of going out there and turning laps and having fun?
Yeah, I'm just going out there and having fun and trying to do the best job I can. I know there's pressure on me, but I don't pay any attention to it. Obviously I read and listen to what Jeff and a lot of the other guys say about me, but I don't let it get to my head at all because I don't want it to make me drive any differently or act any differently.
That's got to be hard. We've got 5 fans on our radio show, and when they say something bad about me, I'm locked in a dark room for a couple of days. You've got thousands and hundreds of thousands of fans out there. How do you filter that stuff out to where you don't pay attention to it?
I don't know. I mean, like I said, you pay attention to it, but you just don't let it go to your head. So that's about it. I don't know. I've kind of always been like that, been pretty humble and confident, but not cocky by any means.
How does a young man like yourself stay humble? You say that humble word, but I mean, I know a lot of people that would be at your young age, even being a rookie in Cup, that would just be, let's be honest, cocky and arrogant. And here you are, you're so humble, you're so thankful for everything you do. What keeps you at that stage?
I guess probably just the way I was raised and the way my parents taught me how to be and how to act around people and how to respect people. So I think that goes into racing as well, by not letting anything get to your head or any bad things get you down. So I just think being level-headed, like I have been my whole life, kind of helped me for where I'm at today.
Can they write a book and maybe educate some of these other people on how to be humble? It'd be great if we could teach some of these dirt drivers that are down racing in sport compacts and hobby stocks, and they think they're just the next thing.
Yeah, no, there's actually like a movie that I watched. It's called The Secret, and it kind of just is all about teaching you how to have a positive energy and positive thoughts and things like that, and how it affects reality. So I think it's a good movie if you actually want to watch it.
The Secret.
Yeah.
All right, I'll put that on my Netflix queue. Are you a superstitious man?
Yeah, I think a lot of us are. So I don't know. It kind of changes my superstitions throughout, how well you're running or how bad you're running. So it changes every week.
Everybody we interview on the front stretch always finishes in the top 5, so I mean this has got to be a good luck omen for him.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to hang too much on how great of interviews we are, but Ty Dillon got his first win at Indianapolis after you interviewed with us. Brendan Gaughan got his first win at Road America after interviewing with us. So we've got a streak going here. We got a local sprint car driver that she got her very first win in a 305 after interviewing with us. So I'm feeling good for you on Sunday.
Yeah, well, let's do it. Let's double up on the weekend and win both Nationwide and Cup race.
That'll be great for you. What about the rule packages for 2015? There's a lot of changes that are coming down. Is there one of them that you're looking at that maybe you're looking or thinking that's going to be a really good change for the way I like to drive?
Yeah, I actually was testing Nashville this week, and we got to put in the new rules packages, and I think the shorter spoiler made the biggest effect on the handling, which made it difficult to drive. So I think it should hopefully produce some better racing. We just kind of, I guess I got to wait and see how it all works once next season starts.
What about that testing ban? Do you like it, not like it? It seems to be kind of depending on where your organization is, if you like the testing ban or if you don't like the testing ban.
I love it. I hate testing. So that's about the most boring part of our lives is testing. So the crews might wish we still had testing, but I love it.
Coming from a sprint car a large sprint car background where you have the adjustability to adjust some stuff within the car while you're racing, what do you think of the adjustable track bar coming next year?
Yeah, I forgot about that. I like that a lot too. Like you said, you race midgets and non-wing sprint cars and stuff, you have shock adjusters, and you race a wing sprint car, you have wing adjusters. So I just think track bar adjustment's going to bring it into the driver's hands a little bit more, and which I think is always a good thing.
And that definitely feeds into your style of driving.
I hope so. I don't know.
Just being more of a driver's kind of a car rather than maybe a setup kind of a car. A driver's car definitely feels like it would sit better with what you like to race.
Yeah, I think so. We'll just have to wait and see. You never know.
All right, Kyle Larson, racing in the Nationwide Series Saturday and then also in the Cup Series. Now that he's interviewed with us, we'll see him in victory lane.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do an interview after Sunday's race from the media center or something.
Deal. We'll hold you to it. Thank you so much, Kyle.
Thanks.
All right, a few minutes left in the show. Final thoughts, Bud? You've got a little thing you want to talk about?
Yeah, I've talked to a few drivers. Kind of, I guess,
a few seconds left in the show.
A few seconds left. I am eyeing the possible promoter's job at Crawford County Speedway. An offer has not been formally announced. I'll make a decision when that offer has been given to me, if it comes to me. I will tell you right now, just to kind of help kill the rumor mill, don't be emailing me, calling me, text messaging me, but I just want to be fair and upfront and tell everybody I am eyeing the promoter's job at Denison at Crawford County Speedway.
All right. Spring in earlier this year, Jeff Gordon got the win. This time last year, Kevin Harvick was able to get the win in the Richard Childress Racing Machine. Kevin Harvick's going to start on the pole in his Stuart Haas Racing Machine. I'm really sorry to cut you off, but we're about a minute over time. I apologize. Get down to Kansas Speedway today for the Hollywood Casino 400. Thank you so much to Quaker Steak and Lube, to Joe's Karting for allowing us to do this, and to thank you to you for listening. We'll be back next weekend, live and in charge for our final live show following the Cornhusker Classic and Charlotte Motor Speedway. This is the Front Stretch on AM 590, Omaha's ESPN Radio.